Welcome back to another edition of the Gabagools podcast. I'm your host, Jeff. This is episode 58 with the Cuzzo, Daniel, Mystic Dan.
Hoffman! Whoa! Hey-oh!
D. Hoff.
Hey-oh! Woo!
We
Yeah,
should have
pretty
done
good.
like a Bulls intro for you.
Oh, now starting
Now
at
starting because how bad they are in the playing game.
at power forward 5'10".
In the rec
Yeah,
league.
you know what? It's been a few years since we played in the rec league, so probably I'd be a little. I don't want to say washed. I think I still
Oh,
can hit a shot if I had to, but I'm getting up there. Almost 30. I know you're feeling my pain. You're just a little over that threshold, but there'd be a lot of stretching before that game. Let's put it
oh
that way.
yeah. Dude, I don't do anything that involves lifting without stretching because even lift moving some furniture, my hamstrings are burning after if I don't do it. But yeah. I mean, I would love to go suit up for a basketball. I would die after three down backs, and depending on how fast I was running, I would
Yeah.
be like a smoker, even though I don't smoke. So
Yeah, that's how I'd be. I don't know if I'd be able to get three down and ups or down and backs or whatever. It'd be I'd have
Marlboro
to
Reds.
I'd have the oxygen tank ready on hand. So
Yeah, we'd all need it. But yeah, let's jump into the quick hitters here. So I don't know if you saw this. This happened last week. Tennessee QB, former Tennessee QB, Nico Emanleva. He was a former five-star recruit. His representation, which is actually his dad, wanted a new deal with Tennessee. They wanted more revenue sharing, just because everyone's kind of sharing what the players are making with the NIL. He wanted to be paid more than $2 million per year. He was looking at 4 to 5. Tennessee basically was like, and he was, mind you, his representation was shopping around, going to other teams, being like, "Hey, what can you give me?" Um, Tennessee found out and was like, "All right, we're done with you." They actually cut ties with him. And then just I think last night or on Saturday night, he transferred to UCLA.
is he getting more?
Oh yeah, I don't know how much the number amount didn't come out yet, or if it did, I didn't get the research on it yet. But yeah, this is just part of the mess that is the NIL right now.
And you said he was already making about 2 million a year, and he wanted two more.
Yeah.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. If my Faja, for anyone who's Austin Powers fans out there, his Faja, if he were listening to this right now, he would not be too pleased with that. He would say, 2 million. What do you need? What do you need more? 2 more million for? 2 million's a lot of money, especially with these college athletes, as we want to call them now. And you know what? They are athletes. I get it, but
Yeah.
um, that's a little fickle. I understand you're trying to get a couple extra M's in the bank here, but 2 million is pretty damn good. And what the hell do you have to pay for as a college athlete?
I mean, you're paying for all your family's shit at that point. I mean, that's kind of the problem with the NIL is there's no cap for these teams. So, we've talked I think we talked about it before when it was like college basketball about how Duke has got, well enough, they have enough money to be throwing at Cooper Flag and all these other, players to kind of surround them to load up. And then you also have the Arkansas of the world where they have Tyson Chicken as their one of their bigger donors. So it's like, of course, some of these teams are going to have more money than others.
It's good chicken too. I mean, I'll tell you, unless you want to go out to some fancy schmancy restaurant, you pick up a nice thing of Tyson chicken, throw that in the freezer, whatever, what have you, right?
Oh
You
yeah,
got chicken for days, for weeks, for months.
I hear you, man.
It's
Yeah,
a good sponsor to have.
absolutely. And you know what? And going back to Nico too, it's not like he was a highly he's a pri obviously he was a five-star, so he's highly recruited. But I think the problem with him is that he's playing at Tennessee, and he wanted Alabama money, but it wasn't like he did a whole lot at Tennessee. I mean, he was the starter last year, but they went 10-3. If you were going undefeated and you were winning the Heisman or even a Heisman candidate, I would understand that, but I mean, he rushed for 3 touchdowns and he threw for 19, I think I saw. So wasn't like he was out of this world type player. So I mean, I think he just needed to stay in his lane. But
Is
I
that a $4 million, $5 million player a year in college? I
not
don't
my
know.
not my book. I mean, I guess we'll find out when he plays at UCLA and gets his
Now,
ass kicked.
is UCLA? I know. I think UCLA probably was better back in the day. How's their football program now? I mean, are they better than Tennessee?
It's hard. I mean, I'd say Tennessee's better, for
I
sure. They
would
have
think.
pretty good defense, and then their offensive coordinator is pretty good at Tennessee. UCLA's kind of had, like you said, the last couple of years have been pretty bad, actually. A lot of turnover. They just got a new coach. Um, I think last year or 2 years ago, and he's kind of been a little bit of a joke. And pretty much anyone who's been there, I think Chip Kelly was there for like a little bit, but he didn't even bring them back. And Chip Kelly, if you remember, he was with Oregon for all those years. Just recently won a national title with Ohio State, and I think now he's with Pete Carroll in Oakland as like an offensive coordinator.
Well,
Or
I'll tell you, if that's the case, that guy has he's moved around in the last decade.
yeah,
Holy shit! These guys
yeah.
don't want to stay for one job for more than a couple of years.
Well, the problem with him, Chip Kelly, too, is he went out of Oregon, he went to Philadelphia, the Eagles, and he tried to install that quick
Terrible.
offense, and it just went terrible, as you remember. People would make so many jokes. Like if you listen to some of these former players too, the way they talk about how Chip Kelly ran the NFL team was just a joke. And it's funny because you look at some of these college coaches and how good they are at the college level, like the Nick Sabans of the world. He went to the NFL for a brief cup of coffee, and it just didn't turn out well when he was with the Dolphins. So, yeah, I mean, all the power to you, Nico. You're going to be rough sledding at the second team in LA. So,
Nico, you know what? I got to be honest. Like the name, had a good friend growing up, Nico. And it was yeah. Well, hey, I'm assuming he spells it Nico. My friend growing up, Niko. I was just saying. I don't know if there's a difference in spelling. Maybe if he spelled it with a K instead of a C. Maybe we're talking of a $4-5 million player going to Alabama. Who knows,
could be.
right?
Could be.
Just saying.
Yeah. All right, moving in. We also had the WNBA draft last week. As expected, our girl Paige Paige Buckets went 1-1 to Dallas. She's gonna put. It's gonna be fun to watch her versus Caitlin Clark. It's gonna be good to grow the game in that aspect. And then our Chicago Sky drafted. No, I can never say this girl's name. Aja Siva. She's like 6'4". They drafted her with like I think the 10th pick, and then with the pick 11, they drafted Haley Van Lith. She was at TCU.
Hmm.
They made a decent run. She kind of brought her stock back up. And if you remember, she was with LSU last year, so she's rejoining Angel Reese. So we'll see how that goes.
It's correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like some of these, Caitlin Clarks and this girl Paige this year, these could be some big time players that help kind of change the landscape of the WNBA. Now, I'm no expert on the WNBA or even the NBA for that matter, but I know Caitlin had quite the year last year and the year before at Iowa, and then now this year with who's she with the Fever?
Yeah, the Indiana
Yeah,
Fever. Fever should be pretty good. They did a lot of. They're trying to build around her for sure. I mean, like like you said it best. We're not WNBA experts. Definitely not an NBA expert. I like basketball, but the game's kind of taking a back seat in my day to day life. But yeah, I mean, I do try to tune in when I can to watch some of the WNBA games, and Paige Beckers is right up there. Is an elite player that can change a franchise. So it should be pretty fun to watch this year. Haley Van Lith too. She's going to be great to watch for the Sky. So
we'll be watching.
we will from afar. And then obviously have to bring up Rory finally winning the Masters. He earned the Grand Slam title. He became the sixth golfer to accomplish the Grand Slam, with which, if you don't know what that means, winning the Masters, Open Championship, U.S. Open, and the PGA Championship. Some of the notable names, obviously Jack Nicklaus, and then Tiger Woods in 2000.
If you're in the same breath as, and I know Nicholas is a big legendary name, but especially with Tiger too. Obviously, that's more our generation. I mean, what
Yeah.
hasn't Tiger done? If you're in that same breath, you're doing something right. So
I mean, yeah. I mean, Tiger's got on and off the course. He's got a hell of a resume, but
he
uh,
certainly does.
that's a podcast for July when there's no baseball, there's or nothing else besides baseball going on. We'll do a deep dive into Tiger Woods' resume. But
That's a
yeah,
hot take.
yeah. Congrats to Rory on pulling that off, and he almost blew it too. I don't know if you caught any of that, but he almost blew that.
No, I did not, but we'll give Rory his flowers. I know he's been one of the top names in the sport for a while. So
All right. Next, obviously, everyone's favorite. This is a great time of year. I mean, even though there's no football on, we have playoffs, right? So, quick hitter with the
playoffs,
NHL
playoffs.
playoffs. So, obviously, NHL playoffs kicked off. We had an opening, President's Trophy winner, Winnipeg Jets. President's Trophy is the best team, like, with the record wise. They kind of kicked the shit out of St. Louis 5-3 on Saturday, and then Colorado at Dallas. Colorado, who is kind of a favorite right now, I think they're like plus 750 at your local sports book if you're lucky. They kicked the shit out of Dallas as well, 5-1. And then on Sunday we had a couple games on our Easter here. New Jersey at Carolina. Carolina whooped them 4-1. Ottawa at Toronto 6-2, and then Minnesota at Vegas. Vegas won 4-2. So nothing really close outside of that Winnipeg game, which that was still a 2-goal differential. So
Were those all favorites that won?
yeah, yeah, and pretty much. I mean, it's very chalky, kind of like what we're going to talk about with the NBA as
Yeah.
well. Some of these teams are just the first round matchups. There wasn't anything that like is sticking out to me like, oh, that this team could upset them. I mean, a lot of them are very chalky thus far. If I had to pull, you know, anything out, that would be the one nugget right there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that was pretty similar to the NBA with what we've had in the first round or so. Chalky year for March Madness. Chalky so far for the NHL and the NBA playoffs. It's a chalk year.
Yeah. And before we jump in, obviously, to the meat and potatoes of the NBA, breaking that down, did you see your boy Cooper Flag declared for the draft?
I did see that. Coop, hey, hell of a season. I didn't go to Duke, but I was rooting for you, and you almost had it. You almost had it. Would have liked to see you in the ship, try to take down Florida or whoever, but hell of a season, hell of a player, and he's one of those kids where you see him in college. You got all that hype around him coming in. He has that great season, and you're like, he's got the size, he's got the skill. There's no reason for him to really stay down there and play another year at the college level. So congrats to Flag Double G, by the way, Cooper Double G Flag. We got to throw that out there,
Yeah.
and
Bulls
we'll
have a chance at
see.
it. It's like a
Yeah, well,
0.1% chance.
I'll tell you right now, and I'm not a huge jersey guy, but I
Yeah.
had to get the Kyle Tucker jersey recently, and Tom Ricketts and Jed Hoyer. I know you heard me. I know you watched the pod. I know that we got to re-sign him. Cooper Flag, man, I'll tell you, if he becomes a Bull, I
That
will
would
be
be
one of the
super.
first people getting a jersey. I don't
That
actually think I have a Bulls jersey in my repertoire, so
I have a
that'd be number one.
I have a Rodman, and that's it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been all over Derrick Rose, but like I said, his end of his tenure
Oh.
it's still sour in my mouth, man.
You know what though? I'll always love D Rose. I know everybody's got their own opinion, but he had some mammoth seasons with
He won
us
an
early
MVP.
on, and
He wa-
he won an MVP when back when LeBron was still. I mean, LeBron's 40. Let's face it. D Rose won an MVP 10 years or more ago. He did it when LeBron was basically your perennial
oh,
MVP every year. We still had guys like Dirk playing. You had everybody on San Antonio playing.
yeah.
I mean,
Kobe was still
R.I.P.
too.
Kobe was still kicking, doing his thing. Absolutely. I mean, he was that good. It's unfortunate we're not going to get into it, but you know what? He's got his flower shop to look forward to now. So now he's
Yeah.
selling roses. He's a businessman. Come on now.
Yeah. And you know what? I like the fact that, I mean, he's a Chicago kid, so seeing him kind of coming back it's nice, and I think eventually I'll get the sour taste out of my mouth with like his comments, obviously, but
Yeah, we got to get that sour taste out of your mouth. He's Chicago born and bred now.
I mean,
Come on.
just the Bulls in general. I feel like after Rose had his stuff, it was just they never rebounded.
Oh
So
no,
I mean, they obviously got bounced last week too out of the play-in game on Wednesday against Miami.
I
That was
put that game on for I don't know. I didn't catch the first of it because the woman and I shout out Maria, love you, babe. Uh, we were watching, we were binging Game of Thrones. So
okay.
we watched it. We watched an episode, and I put the game on late. I think it was late in the second, and we're losing by like 20. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to subject myself to this. I could barely watch all year because we
Yeah.
still don't have the deal done. So, uh, yeah, that was that. What do you expect? This is what we've been the last couple of years with this 9 or 10 seed. We can get into that later, but yeah,
Oh,
just
we can touch on it now. I mean, it's a
first
ridiculous thing. God.
first expletive of the pod. No pun intended. Bullshit. Bulls bullshit. That's two for you right there.
Yeah,
Hope
I
you're
mean,
listening, Jerry.
the Reinsdorfs do a great job of just literally making the playing game. And I mean, I think the playing, we'll have to do it. This is your homework for next week, is to come back with me and how many times the Bulls have made the play in in all the years that we've
Seems
had them.
like every year, and it seems like every year we play fucking Miami. That's the third expletive, and we can't beat that fucking team. That's number four.
Yeah, I
So
mean, between Miami and then, like, another team that always seems to make it there too is
Atlanta.
Atlanta. I mean, there's three teams right there. With the Hawks, I was going to put the Magic in that category, but they actually made the real playoff. Um, you know, Miami's in there too. They weren't very good all year. And this is just kind of like a participation for Jerry to sell one playoff game and make a ton of money, because the Bulls are a number one. Like, if you look at the attendance, the Bulls show out and they're always selling out the games, no matter how good the product on the court is. And I think that's what's
And
frustrating too.
isn't that something too? Because especially the last couple of years, if
Loyal.
we have been number one the last like 3 or 4 years, it's brutal being this 9, 10 seed, being a barely a 500 team every year. These extra couple seeds that we've added, the 9 and 10, some of these teams have losing records. You could say it's good to add extra teams, whatever. I didn't have a problem with the top eight making it, to be honest with you, but some of these teams have losing records, and we're putting them in the playoffs. So
Yeah. I mean, you know what? And it's been said too before, so I can't take credit for this, but the Bulls are a great March and April team. But as soon as the playoffs come around, they're like Cinderella at midnight. They turn back into a pumpkin.
well, and you know what? What really caught a lot of fans' eyes probably was we played well down the stretch. We had
Yeah.
some guys that were playing well, and you're like, okay, like we're going to be in the play-in, and that's what gets you. You're a fan.
Yep.
We're all big fans of the Bulls. Everybody will say
I
that
think
it's a
we all do,
football city, and I'd agree. We're probably a football city when it's all said and done. But we love our Bulls, and when the Bulls are better, I feel like they're one of those rare franchises that when they're better, the league is better. And
Yeah,
you can agree or not. I know
I
you could say
agree.
that about the Lakers and maybe the Knicks, but the Bulls are such a big franchise. They're a huge brand, and with us being this meddling team the last couple of years, it's just
I feel like, honestly, it's been since Rose left. Like, honestly, it's been
yeah, for
like,
sure.
we've been 500 or less, and we haven't had. I mean, poor Billy Donovan. I don't think he's cut out to be, the savior here for Chicago. But it's like one of those. Since we got rid of Tom Thibodeau, it's just been downhill since. None of our coaches have been able to kind of keep, get a winning season. And then they just, no matter who our GM is, too, we finally got rid of Gar Pax, and then we end up with frickin' AK, who we had a ton of stock in. And you know
Yeah,
what? I mean, if Kobe White ends up turning into something, that's great. And Josh Giddey, I mean, he was drafted top 5 or so, I think top 5. Um, you know, he could be pretty good. I mean, he barely played with the Thunder, and the Thunder are really good.
oh,
Say what we can about that, but I mean, yeah, I wouldn't expect much. I mean, we ping pong ball's got to be lucky. We're not going to be that lucky. It's always fun to do the little mock draft and see where we fall, but I would not have a whole lot of hopes with them.
And that's our other problem too. If you're going to get a 10th pick, 12th pick, you got to find a way to hit on these kids. And I don't think that we've done a great job with the drafting, and or maybe we've drafted guys that are good, but maybe the development hasn't been there. Who the hell knows? But yeah, we haven't drafted a stud in how long? And
I
we
mean,
need.
Mattis might be. Mattis was a steal of the draft wherever we got him, and I think that might be. I think we drafted him at 11.
I was
Um,
going to say, you think he was right around 10, and yeah, he's looked pretty good. But show me
he
what
needs to
you
put on
got
some
next
weight.
year.
Yeah, put on
Yeah.
some weight, and then if him, and then you give Kobe, you extend Kobe White, and kind of hope to see what else you can get another young kid, and then I mean, it is a big market. That's another thing I will talk about a little bit later when we talk about baseball. But need to spend some money and get some more guys in here. I know it's nice that Lonzo actually is back out there too, so that it helps. You extended him, you paid him, so hopefully he stays healthy for us. And when he's out there, he's not horrible. So we'll see. But jumping into the NBA, we had a decent weekend with that. I love, like I said, I love playoffs when it comes on. It's probably one of the only times I actually do watch the NBA. But we had Milwaukee at Indiana, and Indiana won. And I think one big note of this is it seems like Milwaukee has fallen off a cliff, and I don't know what happened with them. I don't know if it's just everyone's kind of adapted to Giannis, and Giannis is just that powerhouse player, but I don't think he wants to be in Milwaukee anymore, man.
You know what? I don't. I think they got rid of Chris Middleton, who was there for a while, and he was kind of one of those guys who could go off every now and then. Dame is hurting them, and you know what?
He's hurt.
Unfortunately, he's
Yeah.
got the blood clot. They're trying to. They're not going to rush him back, and you shouldn't. That's obviously a big health issue. So you want him to come back and make sure he's more than 100% when he's back. Yeah, Milwaukee the last couple of years, I don't know. I mean, Giannis is going to put up his stats. He's one of those players. They call him the Greek Freak for a reason. He had 36 and 12. But one thing I think they said that he was doing this year was he was passing the ball more. He had one assist in this game.
Yeah.
That number, if Milwaukee's going to win some of these games and you don't have Dame, and I don't know how many assists Dame gets normally because I know he's a good shooter, but Giannis minimum needs 5 or 6 assists. He needs to be closer to that triple double
Yeah.
to really be that guy. Like, okay, I can get my 30, 40, 50 even. I can get 10, 15, 20 rebounds, but you really got to find a way to get maybe 6 to 10 assists in there too. And is he that type of player? I don't know if he's the guy who's going to be able to get you 8, 10 assists a game, but I mean, you got to do something. Indiana, they're a good team. I'm not going to take
They
anything away
are.
from them.
Yeah. Tyrese
Siakam dropped.
Halliburton. Yeah.
Yeah, Halliburton's. I mean, and Halliburton didn't. He had 10, 12, and 7, 12 assists, I believe. So
Yeah.
he almost had a triple double, but he didn't even do a ton of scoring. Siakam led the way with 25. They've got other good players on Indiana. They're a good team. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's something wrong with Milwaukee too. I think you hit the nail on the head. They don't have that guy outside of Giannis and Dame that can really
Well,
step up.
if you want to hear a great statistic, Kyle Kuzma, I don't remember what he was drafted. He was a high draft pick with the Lakers.
It was
Pretty
tough.
sure at one point during that whole draft process, people were comparing him to Jason Tatum, and it's like, who do you take? Who do you take? Obviously, Boston did it right by getting
In hindsight,
Tatum.
yeah.
Kuzma did something that I probably it's mind boggling. So let me read his stat line. I'm sure you saw it. So he was 0 for 5 from the field, 0 for 2 for 3, missed both of his free throws, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks. He had 2 fouls.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Well,
I'll tell you, that's a stat line that makes you go, you know what? How are you and I not on the floor over this guy? The
I
only
was
reason is
literally
because
just
he's
going to
probably
say
like 6'10". It's like, if you're able to do that, they talk about WAR for a season. What was the WAR for that game? In the negative. I
negative
mean, all he
20,
did was
negative
commit two
24,
fouls.
negative 24 plus minus for when he was on the court.
Jesus Christ, dude. I
Like
mean,
a
yeah,
fall off.
that's not good.
Yeah, they traded. I'm pretty sure they traded Middleton for him, but my goodness, like, how do you not fall into a rebound or a steal or something? Like, how
Yeah,
do
I
you not, like,
know.
you could trip, like, you and I could be out in the stands in the third
Yeah,
level of the United Center and still put up more stats doing that. Like, my
yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, and I thought he had a decent year or a decent season with Washington, whether last year or a couple years ago. But yeah, I mean that guy's done. He's done nothing, and that's I did not see that stat line, but that is actually maybe my favorite stat line so far in the playoffs.
Yeah, between that and then when we move into the next game, obviously Pacers won 117-98. But when we move into the next game with the Nuggets and Clippers, honestly, Russell Westbrook is probably one of the funniest players to watch because of his up and down the entire time. And I'm not talking about him, his leaping ability, which has always been there since he was at UCLA. But my goodness, that guy has the yips, or he's either carrying your team or he's ruining your team. And we had like so much up and down emotions with this freaking guy in the last minute of the damn game. I think he had I had some bad fouls down the stretch. And then he ends up getting the game winning like steal or like forcing a turnover at the last down the stretch. And he comes off the bench now, but he put up 15 points. So what do you got for me on that?
I didn't catch a ton of this game, but I know the Clippers were winning this game pretty much the entire time, and you find a way to not close it down in regulation, and that'll hurt you sometimes when you're playing arguably the best player in the league with the Joker. I don't know what your opinions on that are, but you know,
MVP.
d-
He
oh
should have
man,
he should have won the MVP over
you
Embiid
know what?
years ago.
We'll
That's
we'll
my opinion.
see. We'll see who wins it because I know SGA had a fabulous season with OKC, so I'd have to see his numbers. But yeah, the
Yep.
Joker's one of those guys where he probably almost averages a triple double every game. Um, I know Kawhi didn't have a crazy game. I know he was. I think in the second half he didn't do too much either, if I'm not mistaken.
So he had
You
seven
know,
turnovers, which is kind of rare for him. Just knowing that Kawhi Leonard, what he could do and what we
the
watched.
claw.
I mean, he what look what he did against the freaking Warriors back in that season. Like he got paid after that. I feel like after he won that championship with Toronto, and maybe it was just the group around him in Toronto. But my goodness, like that, he's been one of the. I mean, he's always hurt, but it's like almost like he doesn't want to play basketball either. But speaking of a guy who doesn't look like he wants to play basketball or doesn't give two shits about it, is Jokic. Like legitimately, I think if you told him, "Hey, buddy, you don't have to play anymore," he could walk away and be completely fine with it. He just always looks like
I
he's so unhappy playing.
He is kind of business as usual. He doesn't get too high or too low. He's kind of become that guy where it's like if we don't win, the goals, you didn't achieve your goal. And also too, let's just go side note on the Joker. He doesn't he own a horse or a couple of horses? He's
Yeah,
kind of doing
that's
his
his
own
thing,
thing
right?
in the off season. That's what he wants to do. I mean, he
Yeah,
wants to do the thing with the horses. That's fine. Denver's already won. They're the perennial powerhouse. They're top seed in the West the last couple of years. Um, but this to me is a game where if this goes 7 games and Denver wins it, this is the game that the Clippers should have won. They're going to look back and say we should have won the
yeah,
series. They were winning this game the whole time, and you find a way, and they only lose by 2. But
yeah.
you're
Overtime
you're
too.
winning. You're winning the whole game. They push it to overtime, and then you get the Joker who finishes with 29, 12, and 9, essentially a triple double. I
Yeah.
want to give James Harden his flowers too, because
Yes, you
people
have to.
like to hate on him. He had a great game, 32, 11, and 6. If he's going to be putting up these type of numbers, he was. I had ESPN on about a week ago, and Stephen A. was doing his 5 wild cards or something for uh, this playoffs. Harden was one of the top guys he had, and Harden again, he plays like that, and Kawhi can muster up 25, 30 or more and stay healthy. The Clippers are a dangerous team, especially for Denver in the first round. So I got to watch a little bit more of that series because that might be the most intriguing series. Well, I mean, maybe I like a couple other teams in the playoffs too, but
Yeah.
it's a good
Yeah.
series.
Moving into the next one, we got the Knicks winning 123, 112. Bing bong for all those Knicks fans who are so up and down. It's always kind of fun watching like just the Knicks fan reactions to their team. Um, you know,
This is
the
another game I think Detroit should have won this game. You had the
they
Knicks
had it for three
score.
quarters. They had it for three
Knicks,
quarters, man.
you can't give up a 40 burger in the fourth and lose it. Detroit they're a good team. This is one of those dark horses that people are like, don't be surprised if they knock the Knicks off in the first round. And you see them play, and you're like, Also the other big thing too is Cade Cunningham. We saw
Yeah.
him. The kid's the real deal. We saw him. I think he went to Oklahoma State or one of
Yep.
those.
He was
He
awesome
he
watching the tournament, man.
yeah, he was fun, and you're like, okay, this kid could have something. And you know what? He's more than got something. He's about to get paid. I don't think he's gotten paid yet, but this kid is becoming a superstar before our eyes, and it's fun to see. Detroit's going to win a couple games in this series. They could have won this first game, maybe should have won the game. Take it away.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I got too. Is that Cat came down the stretch and kind of helped the Knicks. He actually played some defense, and then you obviously have the rest of the Nova boys that stepped up. You had Bridges,
Yeah,
who kind of only did, he only put up 8, didn't get a whole, he only had 2 rebounds, which isn't great. You want more out of your guy that you traded for in this offseason. Jalen Brunson still does his thing. I think he got a little banged up. And then Josh Hart, obviously. Uh, I still pick the Knicks to win this series. It might go 6. Knicks are a better team than this, but they beat up on bad teams. So it's like you can't really expect the Knicks to go too far. But yeah, it's exciting to see I hate the Pistons, but exciting to see what Cade's doing. They were kind of sitting at the bottom of the league for quite a while.
yeah.
Good to see them make the playoffs.
Didn't they lose like 20 games or something in a row last year? Or I
Yeah,
mean, in
it
an
was
80
just
game season, you're like, holy shit, man, that's a quarter of your season.
yeah. Believe me, I know all about that.
Yeah,
Uh,
but good for we'll see what happens with Detroit. And real quick, Jerry, whoever's in charge of the Bulls, find a way to get Jalen Brunson on the Bulls. Local kid, went to Stevenson, would love to have that jersey.
yeah, that'd
Not
be
gonna happen, but
no, probably not. I think they
yeah,
extended him too. Moving into the T Wolves and Lakers. T Wolves won 117-95. The T Wolves shot 50% from 3. They hit 21 of them. So pretty much anytime that you could shoot 50% from 3, you should
yeah,
win the game.
yeah.
That's what I'll say about that. I mean, Ant Man went. He had 22 points, and then Jaden McDaniels, who just seems to always step up in the playoffs and is that like playoff guy that just kind of does his thing. Led in scoring with 25, led the team in scoring. And then Naz Reid, he shot 6 of 9 from 3. So, we had that. Julius Randle hit 4 threes. So pretty much all, they did their thing with that.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Naz Reid went to DePaul, right? Isn't that the kid from DePaul?
Let me check.
They had a kid, I thought, a couple years ago, but
LSU.
yeah, oh, he was LSU. All right, my bad. I'll wear that one on the chin.
That's okay.
Minnesota, 3 with 22 points or more, I believe. Ant-Man almost had a triple-double with 22, 9, and 8. But we got to talk about Luca, too. You got to at least mention him.
Oh yeah,
Had
we'll bring it up.
30, 37 and 8. Uh, King James, Mr. 40-year-old, need a little bit more juice out of you. Need a little something. He didn't have his normal big game, so
It's pretty
um,
bad when it's bad when Bronny James had 3 minutes in the game. But
man,
I mean, if we're talking about it, the Lakers outside of Luca and LeBron, it's just like there's nobody else. There's no help.
yeah.
If you look at the stats, like other than that, other than Bron and I mean Austin Reeves is good. Don't get me wrong. We'll give him his flowers too. He
I
had
like
6
him too.
points. Good player. It's just like you don't have enough on the team. There's really no one on the bench. I mean, I do like Dalton Connect or
King,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, I like him. I wish the Bulls would have drafted him, but happy with Mattis. But just they don't have anybody on that team that really steps up. They don't have a 5. Alex Len's not the guy. So gonna need to do more. I do want to say that the T Wolves will probably win in 6. I think that Braun will go off. But yeah, bad draw for the Lakers for sure.
Yeah, I would. I was just gonna say 6-2. I think you got to give the Lakers at least one. Maybe they get two if
I think they
Luca
get
and yeah,
Luca. I think that Luca and Braun will go off like next game for 40, or and T Wolves seem to be like this team this year, and I don't know if it's because they lost Cat or what. But like they just go through these dry spells, and when I watch them, I don't know, it's weird. Luca,
there's also
yeah,
there's other good teams too, and so that might be why too. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, moving into the Sunday games, the Sunday slate. Obviously, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this one, but the Thunder putting up 131-80 on the Grizzlies, winning by over 50 points. Um, what did I had a note on it. Well, so they fifth biggest blowout margin in NBA postseason history. So pretty good company to be in.
I put this game on for maybe a minute, and it was in the third quarter, and it was, I think, 101 to 50 or 52 or something. And
It was
I, I
awful.
watched I watched them go up and down once or twice, and I said, there is no reason for anyone to watch any more of this game. Sit the starters, let them rest up for the next game. Um, here's what I'll say. I don't expect Memphis to get their ass kicked for the next couple games like that. I expect them to come back, but man, OKC, they had that great year. SGA has had an amazing season, and
MVP.
you're seeing it on full display. So, no offense to Memphis, I'm not picking you. Spoiler alert to win this series. I expect more competitive games, but yeah, this series is over. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, they're not going to win. They're not going to win anything. Thunder are a really good team.
Oh,
Moving into the next game, this one's really not going to be much of a series either, in my opinion. I got the Celtics and Magic. Celtics are a very good team. There's a reason that they won last year. I think they're actually better this year. The one note I will say for the Magic, they only have like two players that are actually worth a damn on their team, which is Paolo Banchero, another Dookie for you. Um, you
he's
know,
a stud.
he's a stud, well worth the money, capital, whatever you want to put in the, I think, number one overall pick, I'm pretty sure. 36 points. And then Franz Wagner, pretty good. My German's not as good as it should be, but got to work on
I,
that.
I'm going to play devil's advocate in a sense a little bit. I like Orlando. I like some of the players over there. They've drafted a bunch of young kids. Bankero, however you say it, he's another one similar to Cunningham who's become a superstar. He is a freaking stud, and Wagner too. Orlando's trouble is all their guys were hurt this year and missed
Yeah.
30, 40, 50 games or something. Otherwise, they probably would have had a better seed. I like some of the players over there. I'd have to see their full roster. I want to say they have Jalen Suggs. I don't know what he's done in the pros. I know they have other guys. They have the other Wagner kid,
Oh,
Morris or
Cole
whatever. I
Anthony.
don't know
Cole Anthony, former Tar Heel.
who.
Cole Anthony, he's a former Tar Heel.
Oh, yeah, that's why I don't know him. No, they got some solid players over there. Do I think they're going to win the series? No, but I like some of the guys over there. If you've got a guy, you don't need that much more to be a competitive team. They've
You need
got
a
the
couple.
guy.
Yeah, you need a couple of them to win. Like just like what we when you flip over to the Celtics too, it's like Tatum and Brown are the two main guys that are signed long term and whatnot. And
Right.
then Porzingis, who didn't really do much in this game, but Derek White
Derek
went
White,
off
yep.
30, which he's just incredible to watch too. Like that whole team. I mean, Holiday's good. Like their starting
Yeah.
five is crazy, but then you go to their bench. You got Al Horford. He's really good. Peyton Pritchard came out of nowhere. Like in my opinion, like I didn't think he was going to be this good. He's been great this year. Um, you know, Celtics are. I mean, this is going to be an easy win for them. Good playoff experience for the Magic, but Celtics easily going to walk away with this one.
We'll see if they go to play Cleveland. We'll see. We'll see what happens there because I like Cleveland this year. But we'll see.
Jumping into that one too, perfect little transition here. Cavs won 121 to 100. Yeah, not much of a
Good.
game in this one either. Miami sucks. They've sucked all year.
Yes,
When Jimmy Butler leaves you, and Jimmy's good. We like Jimmy on this podcast. At least I do. I don't know about you, but
I
um,
do. I'm a Jimmy fan.
yeah, I mean Tyler Hero's the only guy there that's actually worth a damn in Miami. I mean, okay, let me give Bam a bio his flowers. He is a good player, but I mean, they don't have anything that like sticks out. Andrew Wiggins is still a nice complementary piece, but to compete with Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, you can't really do it. Ty Jerome, he shot the hell out of the ball, 5 of 8 from three, so he had 28. And then you obviously have Max Struess, our local, or I don't know if he's local, but I know he went to.
The Struce Juice.
I know he went to. He's the one that went to DePaul.
He went to the bowl. They had another kid. I thought his last name was Reed, and I thought he was in the NBA. But
Maybe.
on that team. One thing on Miami, yes, they suck. Hero's overrated.
Yeah,
I
that's
know
a
a
good
lot of
take.
people are high on Hero. I don't think he's that good. I think he's a solid player. I don't think he's the guy you build around. And they have other decent players over there. I like that the Jaquez guy from UCLA. He's turned out to be a solid player so far. But fuck Miami. That also puts us at 5 expletives, I believe, for the pod. We've been pretty clean the last I don't know how many weeks. So
We have there was like
we
two
were
or
due
three.
for a dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Moving into the next game, the late slate, the last one of the weekend, we had the Warriors beat the three seed, Houston Rockets, which is
one of
kind of
them.
shocked once again. That shocked the hell out of me watching them play. But Warriors won. Obviously, Steph Curry, Chef Curry, our guy here, big Curry fan on this podcast with 31. Jimmy Butler had 25. I mean, honestly, it's going to be the Warriors are going to go as far as Jimmy and Steph take them, and I think that could be to a conference championship or conference semifinal, I should say. I think they'll get to that semifinal, losing to the Thunder. I think the Thunder are too loaded, and they'll end up facing Boston in the final. But Steph is just too good, and it's kind of proven. And Rockets don't have the experience.
I have to shout out my buddy Sean real quick. He moved to Cali the last couple of years. He loves Steph Curry. That's his guy. It's been his
Yeah,
guy. I saw Curry play at Davidson when he was there back in the day. So I've known about him. He's always been someone who can shoot the lights out. Uh, Quick stat on Steph: his 59th career 30-point game in the playoffs. That is eighth all time. And if you look at the list, I forgot to write down all the names that were ahead of him. He is, I mean, there's only a couple guys who were ahead of him, and some of them are LeBron and Jordan. And some of the guys he's ahead of already, I think he passed Dirk. He's passed a lot of really, really big time players. First ballot Hall of Famer, we know that. And I agree with you. Um,
he's on my
they've
Mount Rushmore.
got some.
That'll be one
They've
for maybe another pod. Maybe next week we can talk about it.
yeah.
But Steph's on my Mount Rushmore just because he's changed the game. I mean, the NBA wasn't this 3-point shooting
Right.
juggernaut that it was before Steph Curry. But yeah, we'll see how far he can carry him. I think him and Jimmy can do a hell of a job together. Draymond's still there, I think so.
He's been playing well too. So you got a couple of guys who can defend. Steph's going to give you 30 or 40 a night. They're an interesting team.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we got a couple games on tonight too. Nothing really crazy. We got Detroit at New York, and then we got Clippers at Denver, game 2 tonight. So tune in to those.
I'll be
Um,
tuned.
All right, let's go into baseball. Quick note off the top: Aaron Judge named captain for World Baseball Classic for Team USA. That came out like 2 weeks ago. Should have made note for it. If he's healthy, Team USA is going to be nasty. I did a little projection of like my own. I threw it on our TikTok page of just like who I think will make it. And position by position, we can do a little breakdown of that next week and see where who you would add, who you'd take off of it. But obviously, if Harper and Trout are there too, that's a nasty team. But moving on to it, this past weekend we saw the Reds put up 24 runs on the Orioles.
How about my one buddy in our dynasty league, Noelvi Marte, with the granny? I think he had 2 homers that day. Had him on the bench. There
Oh
we
yeah,
go.
I mean,
Uh,
what's your record in that too?
I think I played that. I'd have to go back and look. I didn't even look at the scores
I
in
think you're
that
like
league.
1 and 5. I think you're like
I
one
think
and
I'm
five.
1-5, but I played the teams. If I'm not mistaken, that had the two highest scoring totals this week, and I had some issues with my internet setting the lineup a couple of days. I thought they were set and they weren't. So we'll get into that later. But yeah, 24 runs. I know there were position players I think pitching in that game too, but Cincinnati, they're a middling team. Good for them. They scored a lot of runs.
Yeah, nothing crazy. I mean, nothing like world beating. It was just kind of a hell of a stat, especially on the Orioles.
And that game, I think, was in Cincinnati, which is known to being one of the best hitters' ballparks. So
You ever
you
been
could. So yeah, Mom and I drove up a couple years ago. We made a little weekend out of it to catch a game, and of course, the weekend we went, it was like 95 degrees, humid, and we were sitting in the bleachers. If you haven't been there, their bleachers are old school metal, and you basically you sit down there for about 2 minutes and you're swassing. You know
Yeah.
what that is?
No.
That's ass sweat for everybody out there. So, um, way way too hot, way too hot out there. Nice
Lord.
park though.
Yeah. Moving around too. Obviously, Cubs are leading the division. Padres are hanging in there with the Dodgers, but the beast of the West is still. There's 4 teams out of that division that are going to go crazy. I think with the Padres, Dodgers, Giants, and Diamondbacks. Poor Paul Skeens can't seem to win a game. His team just kind of lets him down, even on bobblehead game. And then Atlanta still kind of meddling near the bottom, and they've improved a little bit, but still. But Cubs
You know
leading.
what?
Before I pass it over to you, though, the Cubs are leading the MLB in runs scored with 145.
Yeah, you know what? I was going to mention that it's been a fun almost first month of the season. We've been scoring, which is something that you just haven't seen a ton of on a consistent basis the last few years. And the lineup is pretty similar to what we had last year. We have a couple other pieces. Obviously, you lose Belly, but you add Kyle Tucker,
Yeah,
who's been, as we know, he's been a freaking stud. Um, you know, we've been really good. We got some bad news with Justin Steele, obviously
yeah,
going down for the year. But the pitching's been solid. The bullpen is obviously one thing we know we gotta get better with. And I'll say quickly, Presley's looked pretty good his last few outings, which is encouraging to see. I still think he's got something left in the tank. But we got to get some other guys towards the back end to help out with the bullpen. But the offense has been great. We've seen, um, some of the home run leaders. We'll get into that in a second. But at least for the Cubs, we got 2 guys with Tucker and Suzuki with 6. I think
yep.
Michael Bush has 5.
Carson
We've
Kelly.
Yeah, he's another one, right? Yeah, he's got 6 too, and I don't even think he's playing every single day. He's been
No,
on frickin' real.
I was surprised when I looked through his stats. And I had to look at the bottom because he's had such a hot year. And he only had like I think 37 plate appearances or something. I could be off a little bit, but it was kind of a shocking number of how low it was. I figured based off of how well he was playing. It not to bring it down, but it's giving James McCann vibes from the 2020 White Sox. If you remember back, he had that really
He had a
hot.
great year. Yeah.
Carson Kelly was a top prospect out of St. Louis like 10 years ago. So to see him have a good year, I am rooting for him to kind of have a good year, but we'll see. It's only been like a month into the season almost. Can't hold too much stock into it,
Right.
but if he holds out, that's great. Cubs got a gem, and that'll be help you guys in the playoffs. But obviously you guys took 2 out of 3 from the D-backs, and you guys almost had that implosion on Friday, probably the game of the year where you guys gave up like 7 runs in the 8th, but came back and won. Kyle Tucker, man, and Ian Happ had that I think he had a grand slam that game too.
Yeah, that was quite the game. We've done this twice now with Arizona. One game we lost, the other one we were able to come back and win. But
Yeah,
and Arizona's a good team. You already mentioned
they
it.
are a very good
You got
team.
4 teams in the West that are over 500. Arizona's in 4th at 13-9. The only other team you got that's not over 500 is other than actually I think they are the worst team in baseball. Colorado at 4-17. So
They are
yeah.
putrid. They are
Oh my
putrid.
God! You want to look at a team that's actually worse than you guys? You go watch a Colorado Rockies game.
Unfortunately,
Holy
I have watched
shit!
because I MLB TV. I've watched a couple of games because I like Chase Dolander. I had him on
He's a
our
stud.
minor league stud pitcher, but he's given up like 8 home runs. So I'm like, I had to drop him from my team just because I'm like, I can't, keep doing
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I mean, I think right now, I mean, obviously you guys lost 2 out of 3 against the Padres, but like you said, good team. I think you guys open up with the Dodgers again too.
Can we play anybody other than the frickin' Dodgers, man, or someone on the West Coast,
And
or
then,
someone in the NL frickin' West?
well,
Jesus Christ!
well, they said that this is the after that past weekend, I think in San Diego, I think they said that the next like game that's later than 7 p.m. for the Cubs isn't until like August. So you guys will all be able to sleep tight after that, knowing that you guys won't have these late West Coast games. I mean, you guys face the
God.
Athletics, but yeah, I mean, and that like, going back to that Dodgers series that you guys did really well. Your bullpen only allowed 1 run the entire series to the Dodgers, which it's impressive. So got to tip your cap to them. But I mean, Otani comes back so, after the paternity leave, so we'll see what he does this upcoming series. Anything else on the NL that you want to bring up?
Mets look good.
Mets
Um,
good.
Good to see the polar bear doing his thing. Again, he's gotten off to a hot start. And
Phillies,
Atlanta, you know what? Yeah,
Phillies.
yeah, the Phillies are obviously good. Atlanta started to win a few games. They just got Strider back, so that's going to help a lot. Acuna, I know he's a little bit
May.
out there. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know when exactly he's coming back, but we'll see. That division is going to be interesting because I still expect Atlanta to get better and make a run for the playoffs. So we'll see.
Yep. All right. Jumping into the AL, we'll just start off with the Central. Before we jump into the White Sox, so Detroit, I think I'm pretty sure I picked them to win the division,
You
right?
did, yeah,
They turned it on. Casey Mize and Spencer Torkelson, another hot player.
yeah.
Both of them bounced back finally for that team. Kind of, after having I don't know if it was back to back number one overall picks or what, but when you have prospects actually pan out, it's kind of nice for them to finally do it. So they're getting carried there. Cleveland has been pretty good too. Obviously, when you face the White Sox, not very hard. Minnesota injury plagued again. Not super shocking, but yeah, Sox 5-17 finally won their first road game yesterday, I believe. And then the following week, they won their first series against Boston as well. But even though they won the series, Garrett Crochet almost threw a no hitter against them last Sunday, which is kind of funny because the guy who broke it up was the guy he got traded for was Chase Mydrith from the White Sox. I don't know if I mentioned him on the last podcast, but he was hitting the heck out of the ball, getting on base, doing everything you need him to do. And now he's on the IL with a thumb inflammation. So we'll
Hmm.
see how he comes back. But they did call up Edgar Kiro as well. He's already got 4 RBIs in the last his first 4 games that he's played. Sox already lost today. They played in that Boston Marathon game. So early start. I think they start at like 10 a.m. our time local. Yeah, I mean Edgar Kiro. There was no need to keep him in AAA. Kyle Teal will be up soon, I would assume, and then Braden Montgomery from I think he's in like Single A because he just got drafted last year. Another part of that Crochet deal. He looks terrific, but like I said, low A. He hasn't made it to Winston yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Torkelson because I know you picked him up or you've got him in one of our leagues, and yeah, he's been great. He's tied right now with 7 homers with a couple other guys. One of those people is Aaron Judge. So when you're
Yeah,
tied with someone like him, that's a stud. Uh, he's had a great season. Detroit's, they look pretty good. The team I picked, Kansas City, they're 9-14. They just lost like 7 or 8 in a row. So. Uh, they'll get going. Minnesota though, I mean, they're 7-15. They've been almost as bad as you guys,
yeah,
and that's the team that Fangraphs and whoever had winning the division. So Minnesota's in some hot water right now. That division is going to be tough again. It's a long season. You can't put too much stock into the first 3 or 4 weeks, but
no,
so far Detroit and Cleveland look good, and Minnesota, man, big yikes.
yeah. One guy that I'd like to bring up too is Tyler Soderstrom.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
Obviously, he had a couple home runs against the White Sox. Not very hard to do that, but the guy's up there. I don't know if he's leading the MLB. Probably not
I think
MLB,
he's
but I know AL. He's up there for like in home runs for the Athletics. Athletics are a sneaky good team, to be honest with you. They have some good guys on that team.
yeah,
Lawrence Butler, obviously, you have to mention him. Wilson, I think that shortstop that came up,
yep.
he's been pretty good. And then you go. I mean, the West is a fun one to watch. I mean, your
Yeah.
Mariners have been pretty solid. Texas, they came back with a fury this year, so good to see that for them. And then obviously Mike Trout when he hits 2-3 home runs a game or whatever. um, he's leading the Angels too, but we'll see where that
You,
goes.
I'm glad you mentioned that because you got your home run leaders. You've got Soderstrom and Big Dumper leading the way right now, both tied with 9. And then who's after that? You've got Tatis, who people might have forgotten about the last couple of years.
Yeah.
He's gotten off. He's red hot. And who's tied with him with 8? Mike Trout. Okay, Trout's back. I don't know what all the numbers are. I don't know if the average. I mean, I'm sure after hitting a few homers, the average goes up, but you know what? If Trout puts a healthy season together, he's already showing that he's still one of the top players in the league. So good to see from Mike too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously we root for him. Jonathan Aranda too, for Tampa Bay. He's been clobbering the hell
Yeah,
out of the ball right now. He's batting
shoot for hits every
355.
game.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a lot of home runs, but that's not what we worry about. He's got 4 of them though. Um, Goldschmidt's been playing really well for the Yankees too, which that one was a surprise. Yeah, Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh. That one, I love that nickname too. Cracks me up.
Oh,
But yeah,
it's one of
Trout's
the
batting
best.
289 too.
289. Okay, there you go. Hey, you know what? I know you
Tommy
have Aaron
Edmonds,
Judge over there.
Tommy Edmonds turning into freaking Barry Bonds too with 7
Yeah,
home
he's
runs,
been he's
and
been
then
good.
Corbin
Yeah,
Carroll. I mean, you got to see a lot of Corbin Carroll this past weekend, and
yeah, he's back.
he's back.
He's a
I mean,
stud.
anyone that has, I mean, this is just a tip for fantasy too. Anyone who has a shoulder injury, to stay away from him for that year.
Man, I mean, you're seeing this kid as how we expect him to be every year, and he's going to be up there. He might win an MVP when it's all said and done. He's that good. Um, Real quick, I got 2 things
Yes.
for you because you just mentioned Goldschmidt, so that's my one thing. But I want to touch because you mentioned Crochet, the ERA leaders. Crochet is 5th right now with a 1.13. Do you know who the ERA leader is in the MLB right now? Unless
Well,
you've looked this,
I
yeah,
haven't looked it
unless
up
you
for it.
okay. Tyler Malley of Texas with a .68.
He's been incredible.
He's been unreal. This guy was really good a couple years ago with Cincinnati. Obviously had the arm issues, but good for him. You got a couple other guys who are right up there, but I wanted to mention Malley. Paul Goldschmidt is the big thing I wanted to bring up here. This is a guy that, when it's all said and done, he's got some really good numbers. He's 37. You might have another couple years left in the tank. He's hitting 361 so far on the year. He's got only 1 homer. He's got 7 RBIs. So I'm going to give you some of his main stats, and I'm going to give you the stats of 2 other guys that have just recently been elected to the Hall of Fame. And you tell me when it's all said and done if Paul Goldschmidt is a Hall of Famer or not. All right? So Goldie's career, he's a 290 hitter. He's got 363 career homers, just under 1,200 career RBIs, and almost 2,100 career hits. He's also got 4 Gold Gloves playing at first base. 2 players that just got in recently. Jeff Bagwell, huge fan of his back in the day. Career 297 hitter, 449 career homers, 1,500 career RBIs, 2,300 career hits, 1 Gold Glove. Now here's my last guy for you. Todd Helton. He just got in. Career average 316. Career homers 369, so almost the same right now as Goldie. Career 1,400 RBIs, 2,500 hits, and he was known for being a really good defensive first baseman.
Yep.
3 Gold Gloves. So I'll throw it to you.
I think so. I think you could make that argument. My counter argument too would be: does Paul Konerko get in?
You know what?
Because
Again,
you reading the stats off, I mean, outside of the Gold Gloves, obviously you read through his accolades. He had 5 Silver Slugger. He's got the MVP. He's got the Gold Gloves. This is Goldschmidt we're talking about, 7-time All Star. He absolutely is getting into the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. I think when it's all said and done for the career, he'll probably come close to 400 home runs. I think if he hits that benchmark, it is a lock. I think his advantage is the MVP that he did win. Um, you obviously have to put him in that conversation. But yeah, I mean, I compare him a lot to Paul Konerko. Only Konerko never had that type of impact on the game where he won an MVP. But very similar, and the gold gloves too. So I mean, like you just named off, Bagwell and Helton got in. I think Goldschmidt will be one of those players that gets in after quite some time. And it all depends. I mean, if by that time that Goldschmidt retires and he gets on the ballot, if some of these other writers retire and we have some of these new age players that watched him play, I think absolutely. And you never really hear anything negative said about Goldschmidt. So
Well, and you made a good point there too, because he's one of those guys where you look at the stats and you say, yeah, I mean, he might be a Hall of Famer, but that's the type of guy that'll sit on a ballot for 5, 6 years before
yeah,
people really give him the consideration. So, and Konerko, real quick, Hall of Fame, coming from a
he should
Cubs
have
fan.
400 and like 60 something home runs, man. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, and I
That
think,
that that number alone gets you in my book.
yeah, ALCS, MVP. Sorry,
MVP.
couldn't come up with three letters. He won the MVP that year. So, and for the ALCS, he's a franchise player. If you name
Yeah.
you put top 10, Caneric goes in there for White
He's
Sox.
there. He's on the Rushmore for you guys for sure. He's up there with Frank Thomas and some of the other top guys.
Yeah, I think you have to put him on there. There's been so many obviously good White Sox players in the past that you could throw on there. But yeah, I mean, he was a cornerstone. He was a '05 World Series champion. So I think hopefully in the future maybe Jerry will get him in.
Yeah, maybe that'll be one of the
Harold,
only good things Jerry does. We'll see.
honestly, it is. He got Harold Baines in too. Harold Baines was a guy that should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time too, but he got him
Yeah,
in. Yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I think Goldschmidt should get into the Hall of Fame when all said and done.
I agree with you.
Awesome. All right, we'll close it out there. You have a wonderful week.